So, and then you got Uncle Thomas, and Uncle Thomas, his wife was literally sent buses to the insurrection, and she was pro-insurrection and pro taking the country over, and he's still on the Supreme Court. How is that possible? Somebody did say, I read yesterday, that they're going to file impeachment. They're filing impeachment papers. They're filing to impeach him.
If this were
Clarence Thomas, because his wife,
good.
Because Ginny T was actually part of the insurrection.
I feel like if this were a left-leaning judge,
my God,
this would be all over the propaganda Fox News.
That's what she said
every day.
She said, make it make sense, because anything they say we do, that they're fine with them doing. If Obama or Biden had done it, they would be setting buildings on fire, and yet they never. And so the Supreme Court, so Alito comes out and he says, well, here's the problem. What happens if a president, finishes his term, and instead of being able to retire, what ends up happening is that the president after him just takes revenge on him and puts him in jail. And I want to go, well, first of all, you're trying to give the guy who said he would do that.
He's just said it again
the
in the Time
ability
magazine.
to do that. The only person in the history of our country that's ever said that is Donald fucking Trump.
They might as
Wait,
well
his
say,
name's not fucking, is it? What is his name?
oh, it's more than fucking. It's grabbing. It's oranging.
Assaulting.
It's Naziing.
Pegging. So the only guy that's ever even considered or said out loud that he would go after his opponents.
He has said it in
is
rallies,
Trump.
in interviews, in town halls. He just said it in Time magazine. He's the only one that's repeatedly saying it.
And yet, Alito's saying that we want to give Trump immunity so no one does that to him. No one's going to do that to him. No one's done. And by the way, when it comes to criming or immunity, in the entire history of America, we've had two guys. One guy, Nixon, and they're both the same thing. Nixon both tried to hide information and or steal information to get reelected. Trump did the same thing. We've had two guys in 250 years.
Yeah.
So Alito's so full of shit. He's just twisting himself up, trying to make it work for Trump. I don't understand. We're going to find out years later. It's going to be like, it's going to make the Kennedy thing. We may never find out.
It is amazing that we're even having this discussion, because it's like, you know how, we create laws or rules or whatever because a bunch of morons just push it to the fucking limit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No running at the pool or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then you got a bunch of guys going.
I'm what?
Bunch of 30-year-old people going.
Yes.
I'm gonna go swimming because they fell down so many times. Yes.
And Trump is the worst case of crime after crime after crime after crime.
But
after crime.
His personality, everything. He's dumb. He doesn't understand half the things. He's whiny. Like first of all, when I was talking about this in the Armageddon update, the leadership is being able to accept the loss and keep going. That's leadership.
Yep.
This guy has been whining and bitching about something that happened now 4 years ago. By the way, do you remember he started complaining? People don't remember this. He started complaining that he was going to lose 6 months before the election happened.
Oh, yeah.
He started complaining that if I lose, it's rigged.
Yeah.
Bro.
And then he was rigging it. And then he was
thinking, fake news. We just had a guy testify that he actually got paid by Trump to make up fake news. It's crazy.
And the fake electors.
Yeah.
He was trying to rig it.
It's very odd that no matter what, and he's already saying it again, if we lose, they rigged it. And yet all the other Republicans that were voted for on the same ballots that were supposedly fake ballots from Cesar Chavez from Venezuela,
the Italian satellites. Yep.
Those were real votes on the same ballot.
So for some reason, they rigged the machine to only deal with the president. But why?
Yeah, but wait. There was a whole thing about the bamboo in the paper of the ballots from China. Bamboo. So if that ballot, you're saying there were a bunch of fraudulent ballots, Mitch McConnell got reelected on those ballots, right?
So if we were going to rig it, let's say we're going to rig it, if the Democrats were going to rig it, and Biden's been around for 50 years, Biden's been around long enough too, right?
Yeah.
wouldn't we just take the House, the Senate, and the presidency?
We would have
and then just
all Bernie Sanders.
It would
all,
be.
the
It would
whole
be.
thing.
We'd all have healthcare. We'd have healthcare vans in our house that just
Flying
showed up.
cars. Come
exactly.
on.
We would have it all.
We'd be in the Jetsons by now.
The border would just be wide open.
And about that, I just said this to him today because all the whole, it's so exhausting. The Republican virtue signaling, driving down to the border and doing photo ops. I have family that just did that this week. And you're not doing anything. You're just there making videos of just the horrible stories. Yeah. In 2016, let me explain this to everyone.
Everybody listen. This is by the way, I've already heard this lecture this morning.
It's very important.
It's very important.
2016, Republicans won the presidency. We'll say they got it. The Senate.
They lost by 3 million votes, but he got it.
And the House. So for 2 years, they could have put border legislation into action. They could have done an infrastructure bill. They could have done the CHIPS Act. They could have done a lot of things, and they didn't do shit.
Well, that's not true. I want to correct. They actually gave rich people the biggest tax cut in history that cost $8 trillion in debt. So they did.
That's going to kick people in the ass next year.
They did something. Oh, people who think, give me a tax break too, bro. It's so weird to watch. You got $40 extra in your check a week, and then at the end of the year, you didn't get a return that you thought you were going to get. They fucked you, and now in 2025, it goes away.
But all this bullshit about the border, I can't take it. You guys had control, all three.
Did nothing.
And you did nothing.
And then the Democrats said, okay, what do you want to do about the border? We'll take all your ideas, and let's pass a bill.
And it made...
Okay. Let's do it.
Liberals mad, this border bill.
That's what I do.
And they voted it down. It was bipartisan. And then Trump truthed, don't pass that bill. It's horrible legislation because he couldn't have Biden having a win on the border during an election year.
And then Marjorie Taylor Greene threatened to Mike Johnson, if you vote on this, they wouldn't even put a vote on it. Not even a vote. So we had Republicans coming to the mic and going, guys, we have got a bill that's the most conservative border bill we've ever seen. We're not. And by the way, and the guy said, I have to stop saying, by the way, I heard
it's your thing.
I know. And if we don't pass it and this guy said this, I forget the Republican, when the Democrats win, we'll never get this again. Said it on the news.
Yeah, because Democrats weren't happy with it.
No, but I agree but that's when I think something's right. When the right's pissed and the left's pissed, I go, okay, we must be somewhere.
Here's the right wing talking point. Oh, come on, Rachel. That was said to me at your family's house.
Right there.
Oh, come on, Rachel. Biden could do anything he wanted to do to the border with executive action right now today. So that explains you not putting it into law.
So it has to be
and
followed.
Also, he takes executive action on anything, and you guys are saying he thinks he's a dictator. Everybody, it's a whole uprising that he's doing things on his own.
But this is the bullshit.
How does that explain?
There's a little bit of bullshit of both sides because this comes to the gasoline thing. I was talking to her this morning about it. I love having having someone in my life that's smart. Both you guys. I love having these conversations.
Aww.
Thank you for that.
Because it's not. Because we go out in the world and you talk to some people and they're just like, I don't know, what? And I'm like, you aren't paying attention to the thing that runs the country? You're not? Okay.